Hello beautiful people. What's the time? Demo time. I have 10 demos on Steam to look at, courtesy of the Jeff Keighley Game Awards 2020. Which I definitely watched, and I'm so glad that
Hades
won
Best Action Game.
All right, the fun is just getting started.
But I'm all about looking ahead to the future, not celebrating the past. And I am definitely an expert on these videos. Hell, I've done 4 of them. So dust off your grandma, grab some drinks.
It's time to
Demo. Really short, but pretty, with a lot of jank. Honestly, not a lot to say here except the controls and animations could use some work. You play on me, driving along the beautiful country road, enjoying the sunset, looking at the sights, smelling the trees. What the hell? Minus the one puzzle, not really grabbing me here. And again, very short, like 5 minutes. So we'll see what it's like when the full release is out. Did not work. Looks pretty cool though. Hey, I like the visual style here. Hopefully a demo comes out that does work in the future. Until then, trailer. Go check it out. Every time an 80s inspired indie game gets made, Stranger Things gets another season, meaning we have about 20 more to go. Though I'm honestly a little sick of the decade revival and would rather see more 90s infusion, look ahead. Echo Generation was charming. The vibrant pixel-style graphics were very colorful and made the world feel alive as it was occupied by strange characters like talking raccoons to small alien overlords who want to raise a doll army. It's very similar to Earthbound and already miles better than Yeek.
I'm an android, made from 2-part epoxy resin and melamine. My consciousness is natural, but my physical form is man-made.
Because the dialogue is sparse, well written, and there is good pacing. Though traveling from the whimsical pastiche of a suburban neighborhood to giant mutant rats and a murder seemed a little quick on the trigger there. Combat is more similar to Mario RPGs, with timed button presses adding damage to hits or a stronger defense. Also there are moves to pull off that are button combinations or other timed button presses, and I keep asking why no one will use the Judgment Wheel from Shadow Hearts 2. It was perfect, damn it, and it deserves another chance. But I had a good time, exploring the small town, talking to locals, and listening to good music. The game has a strange atmosphere that is both parts whimsy and pure terror, that evokes that danger of films like Monster Squad. If they add a bit more depth to the combat system, I'm sure this will be a winner. Playing the coolest guinea pig ever, as you run around trying to get your daily caffeine intake in order to finish levels. Love the 90s cartoon aesthetic, heavily reminds me of Rocko's Modern Life, in direct opposition to what I just said about Echo Generation. Platforming involves a lot of running and a wide variety of movement options in order to get to your location quickly. While the demo had no timer on it, I can see this game being practiced for speedrunning purposes. While I thought the movement was fluid, there was a certain rubber bandness to the controls that had me overshoot jumps a lot. Otherwise, the animation is top tier, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the game has to offer in the full release. Hey kid, don't smoke. Drink coffee.
I couldn't stop thinking about coffee. I need a nap. Coffee time!
Beautiful, touching, and made by one guy. Wow. Self-loss is part of what I call emotional journey games, much like Two Brothers or Rocky. And this demo was a journey. Save a whale, hit the ocean, and use your staff to solve puzzles. You take control of an old man on a journey that deals with the loss of a loved one. Small details are scattered around to give hints of the bigger story. Puzzles are solved by using your staff that has 2 functions so far in the demo. From using the light to reveal secrets and power certain lanterns, to expulsion, which is used to simply put, destroy things. The puzzles aren't particularly difficult and can be solved without much hassle, but the environments are so beautiful that it does not really detract anything. The biggest issue I had was the control. The old man moves very stiff and has an incredibly awkward roll. Overall, the demo was fantastic, and when you play it, don't lie to me and tell me you didn't cry for the owl on the cliff top. Song of Iron is a 2D Norse-themed action platformer. Plan your revenge on the people that killed your son. Run to the right and kill every enemy you come across with a clunky combat system. First impressions here are not great. Controls are arranged in a very weird way, so it feels very uncomfortable to do certain moves. Especially climbing, which has a hold button like all Tomb Raider games. And don't even get me started on trying to dodge with a double click on the analog stick. Using the bow is hilarious though because of how enemies just pop down to the ground. You keep doing that for hours. The main positive I can give is the visual style is wonderful. The dark sequences as you run through the forest with your silhouette standing out against the backdrop. or slowly sneaking past enemies is visually striking. It reminds me of the 13th Warrior for some reason. Anyone remember that movie? Also reminds me of a bad Norse game I played a while ago. Rune 2. Video upcoming. Overall, the game did not win me over. The improved combat, it could be decent. That ending theme is a banger though. Control the puppet girl Abby as you embark on a journey to escape from your circus masters. If you've played Limbo or Inside, you know what to expect with these 2D platformers. And that's not a bad thing. Visuals are the star here, feeling very inspired by Tim Burton and other fairy tales. But your strings are not just for show, as they can get in the way of puzzles and need to be taken into consideration. It has strong puppeteer vibes. My biggest complaint here is that even though there is a great aesthetic, I wish they'd gone deeper with the puppet show look. The models look a little bland compared to the environments, and lack of that wooden puppet texture look I would have expected is severely missed. The story is also told in a rhyming scheme, which I don't want to criticize too much, because I'm not much of a writer, clearly. Otherwise, solid demo, and it's on the wish list. Fast-paced action earmarked this pixel-styled adventure game. You are Faraday, a man trying to save his people from a demonic presence while wielding a magical harpoon. This was awesome! Jumping around, kicking, stabbing, and teleport stabbing people, and just again stabbing, is just so addictive and reminds me of 2D Devil May Cry, specifically number 5 with the devil on. Besides the harpoon, you also have access to a sword to initiate more combos with, and a crossbow for hitting enemies afar or keeping them at bay. I played pretty poorly for most of the demo, but with time I can see myself racking up some long string combos and easily juggling between enemies. I love the soundtrack as well, which gave me strong Amiga vibes, and even though people might be burned out on retro pixel aesthetic, I think it looks great here. And again with the Amiga comparison, reminds me of Out of This World. The visuals work with the combat as everything is given a definitive outline and things don't get too messy for those heated moments. Definitely for action fans looking for a hard indie game to sink their teeth into. The only sequel here, and strongly evoking that same pitch-perfect atmosphere and tight controls that made the original such a classic. Biggest change here is the added companion that joins you in your travels to all kinds of nightmarish hell in the full release, I assume. Visually stunning and terrifying so far, the sequence where you sneak past the taxidermist was tense and felt very much like a scene from the first game. Just hear that wonderful sound design. Really pulls you in and then shit. If you played the first one, then this is already on your wish list. If not, what are you waiting for? Pause the video. Go now. Tell me about it if you want. This was the demo I was the most excited for, and also the longest, clocking in at an hour. I saw this bad boy at the Realms Deep livestream and was like, nice, yes, I wanted it, I needed it, and now I got it. Love it. Play a disavowed priest of an eldritch order as you find yourself in a town ravaged by a plague on the journey to find your daughter. One of the many retro-inspired shooters we have been seeing these last few years, and honestly, keep bringing them. More, I need more. It reminds me of the visual styling of something like Hexen 2 and Wrath Aeon of Ruin. It is gorgeous, showcasing that you don't need a free 80 to create strong atmosphere and beautiful level design. Great action helps things too. Explore a small town that I'm going to call Dirty Yarnum. Walk around, smash some barrels, and talk to the locals. Fascinating. The sound design is fantastic as we hear the undead moaning behind the gates, waiting to tear apart their loved ones. Women crying over those they lost in the plague, and the crackling of bodies burning on the pyre. I am invested. Go into a dirty sewer. Kill a lot of undead and clean the pipes by burning away piles of bodies. The combat is mostly melee in the beginning since you smack zombies with your big staff and watch them blow up. It's a bit clunky. The blood splatter is so big that it obscures your view, and they tend to fly forward a lot, which is annoying. But the level is so gorgeous, and once again, fantastic sound design mixed with... What the hell? Afterwards, you buy yourself a chunky sword and head out to a lighthouse. Wait a minute, the swing seems a bit off. Never mind, more zombies. Cut them up! It's mostly combat as usual for the demo. You get a crossbow launcher later that deals decent damage, and there's ammo for it everywhere, so you can start using it when your swinging arm gets tired. Also, you will get a lightning spell, which is great for incapacitating some of the bigger enemies for a bit. Let's talk magic real quick. You get a fire spell, which can burn enemies, but I have not found it very effective. Much better for burning down certain obstacles. The way you use them in conjunction with your melee attacks reminds me of Bioshock and is a key to a good combat strategy. After a while you fight a boss, which was a little underwhelming but turns out it was a mid-boss, so joke's on me. Great music though, all around. After a while, you get this game's version of the shotgun, and it is glorious. Forget the main fire. Secondary fire shoots explosive balls that take out an enemy in no time. Lastly, we get the flail, which is a little difficult to wield at first, but once you figure it out, oh yeah. Once you start up the lighthouse, the game decides to end your fun by rushing you with a huge group of enemies. But I think the AI broke here, because they sort of stayed away, and I got rid of them easily with the flechette gun. Redeemed the quest, and that was the demo. Overall, very impressed, and cannot wait to grip the full release with my greasy big hands. There we go! Another demo showcase, and what's that? The 5th one? What a year of demos it's been. If you saw any that marked your fancy, please let me know, and check out all the games showcased. You won't be disappointed. Until next time. See you all soon.